everybody? This is Gojo and I'll bring you part 2 of What If the Ben 10 and Dragon Ball Universe were one. Now we'll be hitting off with both Goku and Ben training on King Kai's planet. Of course, Ben will not be able to handle the 10 times gravity, but Goku will be able to handle it much more easier. Eventually, Ben will manage to scan Goku's DNA and eventually get his own Saiyan transformation. But immediately, the Andre tells Ben that this is his new base form and he can use it anytime he wants without even transforming. He can stay in this transformation while access to his other transformation just getting the Omnitrix on his chest. Ben, of course, looks almost exactly the same, except that he has much more darker brown hair, and he most likely has similar clothes to Goku while having his original clothes. With this, Ben uses this form to train in Constant Zenkais. With this, his base form increases, but also his strength. Ben decides to actually ask the Omnitrix to be able to transform him into a Saiyan transformation as soon as he wants to. With of course the Omnitrix is able to do that eventually after a little bit of upgrades that Ben will manage to discover a little bit later after the year of training that they would have done on King Kai's planet. Ben will not only grow as a Saiyan but also as a human. With his power, Ben will manage to increase his power. Because Ben has the orange that practically gives him the knowledge of every of the same species, most likely that Ben will manage to adapt to his same body and eventually learn how to fight with it and utilize it with incredible ease. Also, he won't have the weakness of losing control while transforming to Great Ape. He will actually have control instead of the opposite. He will train with Goku and he will actually create a fake moon thanks to the knowledge about the Saiyans. With this, Ben will easily able to train with Goku using not only Great Ape but also training bears, base forms. This will actually prove to be beneficial because the Zenkais are actually much more lowered, but these still give powers to even base Ben. And by this point, Ben in his human form is had a power level around 5,000, which is not high, but when he transforms to his Saiyan form, it increases and he has a staggering base power level in his Saiyan transformation of 500,000. Wow, Goku has a staggering base power level of 350,000. Of course, Goku is pretty powerful, but then has a much more better advantage because of his Omnitrix giving much more better control. Ben will actually manage to once again unlock the Master Control. Just like in the classic universe, he will be able to have full access to his transformation and even keep them as much as he wants, or even stay in them. Ben will decide to just stay in his same form, deciding that this is much more suitable for him, seeing as he sees a much more beneficial form and he can utilize it at any time. Of course, he still wants to grow as a human, but he decides to accept the same part of himself. Eventually, both Goku and Ben would have been able to learn Kaioken and many of the other techniques that King Kai were able to tell him. Even when both Ben and Goku use Kaioken times 10 and times 20 at short bursts, they will go back to Earth and eventually they'll be back with the Z-Virus. If Goku would have been arrived much more early than original because of Kai training with the others and able to upgrade the Dragon Balls. This guy has a power level around 5,000, just like Ben, while the others, like Kevin is actually the strongest out of all the humans since he's practically a hybrid, you could say, practically an alien. So he has a power level around 50,000, while humans are ranging from 10,000 to 4,000. While Gwen is actually much more weaker than Kim, and she's much stronger than the other humans because of her Android powers. She has a staggering base power level of 15,000, which is pretty powerful on her own right. So yeah, with this, everyone is much more powerful and strong. Of course, Ben is also pretty much more powerful as well. Of course, everyone is actually surprised to know that Ben can actually stay in the same transformation or even has one. Of course, Ben decides to just stay in the same transformation. Seemingly, this is a much more beneficial base form, and he can practically transform into his regular form at any time he wants. Eventually, Eventually, both the Zivars would have been prepared for the Saiyans, as the Saiyans will arrive, and they'll easily get whooped by of course everyone. Even Ben, using base form of his Saiyan transformation, will easily able to both deal with Nappa and Vegeta. Of course, they'll spare Vegeta, but eventually Nappa will get on the nerves of Kevin, and Kevin would have killed him because of Nappa getting too arrogant. Of course, Kevin would not have killed him by by purposely meaning to, but most likely he will slap his blood up. Nappa will charge off with his full power, even with his left off, which most likely would have killed Nappa as soon as he made contact with him. Of course, Joe explained about Vilgax and Frieza that want to rule the universe, and they're going to Namek so they can use the Dragon Balls to wish for immortality. Ben actually remembers that the Dragon Balls are pretty powerful, and if the Namekian actually doesn't have a limit, then so the Dragon Balls. So practically, Ben is kind of worried because if either Frieza or Vegeta gets the hands of their Dragon Balls, they can actually wish for the objects to be theirs or for him to become evil, which Ben doesn't actually want that. So yeah, they'll be in the gravity room, grab the ship so they can head off to Namek. With of course upgraded, it takes to Ben using upgrade, he'll able to also do that alongside Green Matter and able to help Bulma to build the gravity ship much more faster and much more quicker. So yeah, with this, Ben is much more powerful and stronger because of this. Eventually, everyone will go into a ship, but these who will be going will be Ben, Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta, while Gohan and the others will stay on Earth to train and prepare if the Freezer Force decides to come to Earth when the heroes are not on Earth. So yeah, both Ben, Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo would head off to Namek as they train using the gravity ship for a really long time. Of course, Vegeta will have a much earlier start than Ben, Goku, and Piccolo, but he will still prove to be a pretty beneficial rival for them. It's still actually been discussed by Ben using the scene as a transformation, but of course Ben tells him that he is practically a full-blooded Saiyan, so he doesn't have to disrespect him like that. Of course, Vegeta is still prideful, but eventually realizing that Ben is much stronger even than Goku, he decides to accept him. If you're wondering, Ben does not possess the ultimate tricks yet, so yeah. Eventually, they'll manage to arrive on Namek with this cast having amazing power levels. Piccolo regime for a power level of 750,000, able to use Kaioken times 20 with no straight to his body. While Vegeta is up next, having a power level of 1.5 million, which is pretty powerful, but he has still not yet learned Kaioken, but he's pretty powerful in his own right. Goku has a Styrene base power level of 3 million, and Ben has a most highest, having a power level of 6 million in his base form. Now, they were incredibly strong and powerful on their own right. Ben can also keep up this transformation for much longer, thanks to also building stamina, so he probably can hold it as much as he wants. Eventually, they'll manage to get to El Guru's place, with both Piccolo, Goku, and Ben would have been introduced to El Guru. El Guru would like to unlock their potential as he would do it. Of course, Goku would decide to refuse, but Ben managed to convince him so he can get his potential unlocked. With Goku accepting, is he unlocks the three's potential, while Vegeta is on the side, as he managed to recover from the battle that they had with Zarbon. If what he was on mostly about is because the Zarbon actually had technology to drain Vegeta of his power, and eventually they were able to defeat him, but Vegeta was pretty injured, and after he popped a Senzu Beam, the Zenkai, I would say that it was a little bit of a bruise, so you could say that Vegeta managed to increase power to 1 million because of the Zenkais in Namek just being crazy. Now, Ben will have its staggering power levels. It's practically the orange is practically the highest amounts of power and potential of the species that Ben chooses, which means that Ben practically has the highest potential of all Saiyans that exist in history. So with this, Ben will, in a Saiyan form, will able to go from 6 million to 600 million just by go unlock his potential, while Piccolo will go from his 750 million to also, if you wonder, I did make Vegeta 1.1 million. Sorry, I forgot about the power levels in the beginning a little bit. So I'm gonna say Vegeta, which is a power level of 2 million. So yeah. While Piccolo, which is a staggering power level of 10 million, Echo, which is a staggering base power level of 100 million, which practically proves how strong everyone is when they train harder. Of course, it's been one that actually decided to face off against Frieza, but this Frieza has been training for, you could say, an year, and not intense training, but still training. So yeah. Of course, Goku decided to face off against Vilgax because Vilgax is actually weaker than Frieza, while both of them would fight against one another. Ben actually had the much more better advantage as he faced off against Frieza, seeming as they were equal, but then he uses Kaioken starts to overpower a little by little Frieza, while Frieza decides to power up into his full power, finally or managed to overpower Ben. While Vegeta tries to actually help both Goku and Ben in their battle, both Vilgax and Frieza thinks that he's just a nuisance and decide to work together for a little bit as they combine their attacks and hit Vegeta head on. The last hits Vegeta in his last moment tells both Ben and Goku that Vilgax and Frieza orders that the same race was extinguished. He even mentions that the plunger that there were same plungers in Goku's father was one, and he held the universes alongside save Grandpa Max from almost dying for the first time in their battle. with Ben and Goku in that. But I remember about an old friend of his grandfather, and eventually he will start to remember Bardock. Of a little glimpse when he was a baby, when actually Bardock would have met Ben's parents from a long time ago. With this, Ben and Goku will both roar in rage. Goku finally managed to remember his parents, his father, and how he was a hero. And rage will cover Goku as he'll power up, while sadness will cover his face for not being strong enough to protect an innocent people alongside the people of Namek. As the rage builds within him, and both became Super Saiyan. Goku having a staggering base Super Saiyan power level of 5 billion, and Ben having a staggering Super Saiyan power level of 30 million. But of course, with the Zenkai, that didn't manage to heal Ben from because of the injuries that he will get from Frieza. Ben will have a staggering power of a Super Saiyan as 500 billion. Yes, Ben will be the strongest because of his Zenkai being increased because of his rage. So Ben and Goku will easily manage to fend off against both Vilgax and Frieza. Vilgax will manage to use his teleport to escape just in the nick of time before he was fully destroyed, but he managed to lose his arm in the process. While Frieza would have been demolished by both Saiyans and killed as well. Because of their rage, they were not able to control their power. Frieza will still manage to almost blow up Namek, but of course, Ben and Goku would have used their powers to stabilize Namek just for a little bit so both Piccolo and almost near dead Vegeta to escape. As they managed to escape, Goku and Ben use a ship as Ben managed to pilot it to Yardra so they can survive. They are also less injured and less exhausted than the original. Ben is actually the first one to wake up, still in his Saiyan transformation. The Ultrix explains that ever since he transformed into Super Saiyan, he managed to broke the limits of the Saiyan transformation, able to now finally utilize the Saiyan transformation in his beast form. Ben is confused how he's able to do that, but a strange voice tells him that he should already know that. He's been able to have the master control once. He shouldn't be surprised of having it a second time. Ben is then shocked as he sees Azimuth with the Yardranians. Ben asks how is Azimuth here, with Azimuth explaining to Ben that he wants to check on Ben and his progress, and it seems that he's managed to free the universe for another universal threat like Frieza. Ben tells him that it was not only because of him, but also because of his friend Goku. He then looks inside of Goku as Azimuth does the same. Azimuth tells him that he knows about Goku's parents, but he also tells Ben that Goku is an ancestor of the first ever Super Saiyan God, Yamoshi. He explains to Ben about the legendary Legend of the Super Saiyan God and how Yamoshi was the first ever pure-hearted Saiyan and also one of the two people to ever wield Ascalon, the most powerful blade in existence. Which practically shocks Ben to know that practically a Saiyan was actually pure heart. Well, he does believe that some Saiyans were good people, but pure heart was kind of surprising for even for Ben. Aslan tells Ben that he can utilize the same transformation with his humanoid DNA. Practically, he can combine the two of them and practically make himself a hybrid Saiyan while also keeping his human form. Of course, Ben doesn't know what to think about it, but Aslan just tells him that it's for the best since he must get stronger and much more powerful. Ben, of course, decides to accept it and decides to stay in his hybrid Saiyan form. Of course, Asma does help him and actually gives him the master control, allowing him to finally have access to Alien X. Of course, Ben doesn't actually still know what the Alien X is or who is he, but he managed to get control over the Saiyan's body. Now he can finally utilize all the abilities of a Saiyan. Of course, Ben, with this, easy able to transform to Super Saiyan. Having full control over the Saiyan's body means that he can already use Super Saiyan to his fullest peak, meaning that Ben already has Master Super Saiyan. Eventually, after Goku wakes up, he will see Ben training with the Ardrenians, trying to master spirit control so he can increase his power and strength while transforming to his other forms. Of course, he will then see Ben transforming into Humongousaur and using also Echo Echo as well. So yeah, with this, Ben will constantly train and utilize his transformations so he can utilize much more better every of the fighting styles that he learns from his aliens. Of course, Asmod would have been on the Yardra because he actually wanted to restore the Yardranians alongside to learn techniques so he can protect himself, seeing as they're pretty useful techniques. Of course, Ben was also able to scale out the Yardranians and practically get Yardranian's DNA fighter. Practically, he can transform himself to Yardranian and became an incredibly powerful fighter. Yardras also tells Ben that he also has Frieza's DNA, which actually surprised Ben, and as Ben hits his watch, he becomes a Frost Demon, a much more taller and red in color version of Frieza, with of course green gems and the armor on on one of his chests. Of course, this actually kind of surprises Ben to actually have this type of transformation. But of course, Goku also being surprised. Both Ben and Goku continue on their training on Yardra. Is they are preparing so they can go back to Earth to meet everyone. Of course, everyone would have known that both Ben and Goku would have been samurai thanks to Gwen able to sense their energies due to her Analyte's power, of course, basically to her ki, were able to sense both Ben and Goku's ki, even though it was little, their powers were staggering, incomparable to small ants, which practically just was able to tell that they're alive and well on another planet. Seemingly, she was able to sense another form of species, but she could not tell what it was. So yeah, eventually everyone will continue on with their normal lives, knowing that both Ben and Goku come there. But little that everyone know is that another threat was zooming on their way. A threat that considers Asmon's past and maybe something that both Ben and Goku should have been aware of for a really long time. As the dark figure with red eyes appears, telling Albedo if he's ready, with Albedo telling Cooler that he's always ready. This is the end of part 2 of what the Ben 10 and Dragon Ball universes were 1. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you around, guys. Wait for more. This is AF Gogito. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.